Okay, hi guys, a long time since I put a video up, but my poor little Reliant Robin is very sick. I've been having problems over the past few weeks where number 4 cylinder kept gumming up plugs. So changed the plugs for a complete new set, and it's been running fine. Then all of a sudden I was going around the dump to get rid of some rubbish. It'd been raining. Got round the dump now. It's a stop-start situation where you're waiting for cars to go, you know. So obviously your car's got to be reliable and it's got to be able to start and stop. Right, got round the dump, got round to the area where I was going to dump the stuff, turned the engine off. It's been running absolutely fine. Got rid of the rubbish, came back, got in the car, turned the ignition key. Well, she's winding over, nothing. Thinking, what the hell is going on here? Anyway, fortunately the guys were nice enough to take my battery. They gave me a bit of a push to try and get a start, and she was sort of firing but not starting up properly. Anyway, pulled me over to the gate, which is the entrance gate. I said, okay, I'll have a look. So I opened the bonnet. I'm looking around for anything obvious, loose wires, that sort of thing. Can't find anything. So I'm thinking, well, what the hell can it be? So I thought, well, it's not really firing, it's like sort of putting, you know. So checked all the leads on spark plugs, were all on tight. There appears to be no water anywhere. I mean, it had been absolutely pissing it down with rain before then. And I thought, well, I wonder if it's a water problem, you know. So, no, can't see any water anywhere. So I thought, okay, like, I'll check the main centre lead, which comes from, you know, the centre of the distributor and comes straight to the coil. So, first of all, I checked the coil leads, live and neutral. No, they're on there, good and tight. Right, okay, what the hell? So I pulled the centre lead out of the coil. No, absolutely fine, seemed fine. Put that back in. Pulled the other end of the lead out of the top of the distributor. Absolutely full of water. How the hell water got in there, I have no idea. But it was absolutely full, right to the brim. You couldn't have got any more in there if you'd wanted to. I thought, what the? Anyway, said to the guy, if you've got any tissue, toilet tissue, anything like that I can get rid of water with. So very kind, brought out a load of tissues for me. So I was there, 5 tissues later, I finally get all the water out. Plug the lead back in, turn the key, broom, starts straight away. So where the hell does this water come from? Anyway, get it back home. Thinking, right, now I need to find out where this water comes from. So I'm looking around now. Anybody who owns a Reliant Robin knows that all round the outside of where the bonnet shuts, there's a gully, and it's quite deep. I would say it's about 1/2 to 3/4 inch deep. So any water that does, because it doesn't seal, that bonnet doesn't seal, any water that does get in there will run down the gully and runs out the front. So I thought, well, there's no way there's water going to get, you know, get onto the engine in bay, you know. So I thought, right, okay, I'm not going to take any chances. So took all these out, cleaned all the connections, made sure everything was dry, put them back, and where the lead goes into like a rubber sock, I got my hot glue gun out, sealed that all around with hot glue, because I thought, well, maybe it's going onto the lead and then running down. That's the only possible explanation I could think of. So did all that, started the engine, yeah, it's run beautifully. Then, next couple of days, she was having a job to fire up. I was having to tickle the throttle. Now, normally, I don't have to touch the throttle control, the accelerator at all. Turn the key, she starts immediately. I don't even need any choke, because it's quite warm, as you know, it's been very warm lately. Just let her sit there for a minute, just to get up a little bit of temperature. And then I'll go off and do what I'm going to do, you know, no problem. But, no, I was having to nurse it. It was like, it was struggling, and I thought, well, there's something not right here somewhere. Anyway, I thought, I wonder if the timing slipped or something. So, got my light out, checked all my timing, checked the points, and yeah, it was out. So I thought, okay, that was a bit strange. So, the timing pot, or the bit where all the timing mechanism is in, there's two sections to it. There's a top part, which has got like a bolt, and it runs in a little slot, and you just turn it so many degrees, right? But then there's another bolt which is at the bottom, and it goes on to the crankcase, and that's where the whole unit clamps in, because the distributor unit, or you know, like that whole timing bit, drives off the oil pump. So I had a look at that, it seemed to be alright, so I thought, okay. So, because I don't like things over tight, but checked it with a spanner, it seemed to be okay, so I thought, okay. So, reset the timing on the top. It was a few degrees out, so I thought it might be enough to do it. Because she was running, but she was running rough, and she wouldn't run sort of properly until she'd warmed up quite a bit. So, did that, and then for the next couple of days it ran fine. But then it started missing. It was like one of the cylinders was missing. So I thought, okay, right, now it's a pain in the arse to do anything on these cars, as you know. So it was in a panel come off, pull the leads off each one as she's running. But obviously be careful, wear a rubber pair of gloves when you do that. Otherwise you're going to get a shock up your arm like you wouldn't believe. So I'm pulling the leads off one by one. And number 4 is hardly making any difference. So I'm thinking, right, okay, so it's number 4 pot, right, okay. So whip the plug out, and it's a bit sort of sooty and a bit oily. So I thought, well, yeah, well it would be, because it's not, you know, it's not igniting the fuel properly. So clean the plug up and everything. Screw the plug back in. Again, don't over tighten plugs when you put them in. There's no need to. Screw them in with your fingers, and then just get the old spanner on there and go bop. That's all you need. Doesn't need anything more than that. Put the plug cap back on, turn the key, vroom, away she goes. Straight away. Oh, okay, that's cool. So, went round, did the jobs. Came back, and on the way back, she seemed to be like she had a flat spot. Like you'd pull away, and then she would like she would like stutter. I thought there was definitely something very wrong here. So I got back and I thought, right, I'm gonna, maybe it's the carburetor, I'm gonna sort the carburetor. So when I was looking at the carburetor, I found that where the vacuum tube goes in to the carburetor, that little elbow rubber is like a little elbow rubber it goes into. It's actually split. I thought, oh bloody hell, I know what it is. It's running advanced all the time. It's not altering the timing as you're revving up. So got a new boot, put it in. No, it still was like sort of mucking about, you know. this is a bit of a mystery. What the hell is going on here? So I did all the usual checks. And then I was adjusting the carburetor. And I was revving it up to see if it was picking up properly and then dying off. And but I had the air filter off at the time. So I could get to the mixture screw. Because it's easier to do it that way. So I'm revving the engine. Not too hard, but reasonable. So it's picking up. All of a sudden there was this almighty bang. It was like a bloody gun had gone off. So I thought, oh boy, what the hell was that? Oh, and smoke and flames came out of the carburetor, literally. I mean, we're talking big flames come out. I thought, oh, what? So, turned the key again, and it started up, but it was like only on 3. So I thought, what the hell is going on? It's number 4 again. So, right, so the panel was already off, so took the plug out, and there's a lot of oil on the plug. So I'm thinking, oh shit, it's blown a ring or something. So I thought, right, okay, I'm going to have to whip the head off and I'll have a look. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what I found. A nice hole. And it took the side of the piston out as well. Yep, it's done a good job on that. Right, and I'll tell you how it did it. What I hadn't realised was the distributor itself, the plastic part, for anybody who doesn't really know about engines, has got 4 little terminals inside, one for each cylinder. And the way the ignition works is there's a rotor inside, and it goes round until it's opposite to each one of these little silver, I don't know what you call it, I don't know what you call them actually, to be honest. They're like little silver inserts, if you like. Now that insert is sealed in plastic, and it runs right through to where the plug lead plugs into. Unknown to me, one of these little inserts had actually twisted in the cap. Now, one side of the insert is actually cut away so that that little cam sort of runs over the top of it. Doesn't actually touch it, it just runs over the top of it, and the spark jumps across the gap, and then it sparks at the plug. That's how these work, because that's a high tension spark. But what had happened is, because this little terminal had turned round, you now had the solid part of the terminal facing, and the cam had come around, hit that. Instead of breaking the rotor cap, it twisted the whole timing assembly by about, it's got to be at least a minimum of probably 10 degrees or more. No, it's got to be more than that. 15 degrees? I can't tell you exactly, obviously. And it put the time in fully advanced. And that's how I ended up with that. So, yeah, that's something to watch for. Obviously the bottom clamp wasn't done up as tight as I thought it was. And it shifted the whole assembly around. Blew a hole in the piston. Blew the whole side off the piston. The rings are absolutely, I don't know if you can see that. The rings are absolutely fucked. Okay. There you go, it's about shot. But you will be amazed to know there is no damage to the cylinder whatsoever. Absolutely nothing. There's no scoring, no chafing, there's no gouges in the wall of the cylinder. Absolutely perfect. I ran my finger around inside. Absolutely perfect all the way around, right down to the bottom of the skirt area. So then it was, right, okay, I got to buy myself a new piston. Now at the moment, because I was made redundant due to COVID, I haven't got this sort of money to chuck around. So I'm thinking, right, okay. So I'm looking on eBay for a single piston, because the other 3 pistons were absolutely fine and perfect, no problem at all. Once I'd readjusted the timing, once I'd realised what it was and bought a new cap, the other 3 were running fine. So I thought, right, new piston, set of rings, should be good to go. Oh yeah, how easy is that? Yeah, no. They are charging ridiculous prices for a single piston. And 9 times out of 10, they're selling a set of 4 pistons and the inner sleeve, you know, piston sleeve, the inner, oh for fuck's sake, the cylinder sleeve. So they're selling that all as a set, nearly 400 quid. There was no way I can afford that. It's impossible. I just haven't got the money. We're absolutely right on the breadline. So I thought, shit. So rang up my Reliant Spares guy, and I said, right, have you got any new old stock pistons that you can let me have, not let me have, but you know, a reasonable price sort of thing. And he goes, no, I don't do anything new stock at all, apart from very small things, you know, like seals and stuff like that. So and I never thought of it at the time, and he never thought to tell me. I asked him about a second-hand piston, you know. So I rang off and I was searching and searching and searching. Then out of desperation I went back to him and I said, look, you haven't got any second-hand pistons, have you? He goes, yeah, I've got loads. What size piston you got? Is it a standard? So I said, so I got my calipers out, checked it. Yeah, it's all fully standard. 62mm, I believe. So, if I remember rightly. And he said, yeah, how many do you want? So, for fuck's sake. So I said, right, well, I want 1. So he said, oh yeah, that'd be about 20 quid. For fuck's sake. Excellent. So he sent me a really good condition second-hand one. There's no scoring on it at all. It's absolutely fine. It's actually got the rings on it, but obviously I wasn't going to settle with second-hand rings, obviously. So I've bought a brand new set of rings to go with it. They cost me 36 quid. So even they weren't cheap. He also sent me a con rod with it as well, which means I've got an extra spare set of G-clips, which is quite good, and a couple of extra bolts. But obviously I'm going to put the original one back on, because they're balanced, aren't they? When the engines are made, they're all made to balance. So yeah, so that's the state of play. So then, of course, I had to buy a cylinder head gasket kit set. That was 17 quid. But that comes with the cylinder head gasket, the rocker case cork gasket, comes with all the carburetor seals and gaskets, but it also came with new valve seals. So I thought, right, okay. So I noticed that the engine was quite coked up, which I'll show you in a moment, and I'll show you the little bit of damage that did happen to the cylinder head, but it's nothing major, and it didn't damage the sealing area. So I thought, right, okay, yeah, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to whip the valves out, I'm going to regrind them in, and mainly this is what this video is about, really. So I'm going to prepare the head and get it ready. Then I'll polish the second-hand piston, put a new set of rings on it, put that down the cylinder, offer it back up to the crankshaft, and it should all be going. New oil and all that. So you will see that in another video. Okay, so yeah, so that's what's been happening in my life so far. Okay, so yeah, so shortly before that I'd actually rebuilt my disco system, so it was a complete system, all in one, including speakers. But of course, without a car, how can you do any gigs? I can't get the bloody thing to the gigs, so one is counteracting the other. So I can't get the gigs to earn money, so I've got to fix the car before I can do that. So anyway, so yeah, so that's the state of play. And so this video is going to be about sorting the head out, sorting the damage out, the little bit of damage that's there, decoking it, taking the valves out, and generally getting prepared. And hopefully anybody who has to do this, it will give them an idea of what they need to do. Okay, so I'm going to go and get the head, and we'll go from there. Okay, thank you. Okay, right, one cylinder head, and it's right, the bit of card is on there to keep the push rods in. I don't want to lose the position of push rods. Well, I don't want to lose the position. I want to keep the push rods for each cylinder that they were in. So I'll put the cardboard on and stop them dropping out. So there's your push rods, alright. And this is the cylinder head, and I'll show you the damage it did. Right, let's see if we can get a better light on that. There you go. So, it's number 4. I'll zoom in a little bit. Move that back a bit. There you go. Yeah, see the bits chewed up on the compression part here, but fortunately did not touch the actual copper seal that runs around the top there. Well, it's actually the top of the sleeve, isn't it? Yeah, took copper ring or whatever it is there. So yeah, it hasn't damaged that at all. So all I need to do is I've got to polish this up a bit, because otherwise that'll get coke on it and it'll just coke up really quickly. But as you can see, it's pretty coked anyway. The valves fortunately didn't get damaged at all, so I was really lucky there. I'll just bring that out a bit again. Hang on a minute, bear with me. Yeah, as I say, the other 3 are absolutely fine. So that's not a problem, but again, they are just coked up. So yeah, so it's get the old gasket off, clean this all down. As I say, these are going to be put into order, and get it back to looking new. So watch this space. Right, so one of the first things I'm going to do is first things I'm going to do is this bit of cardboard here. I'm going to put holes in and then drop each set of valves in the cylinder order, so I know which cylinder comes from what. Same as the push rod, so I'm going to do exactly the same with that. Because ideally, I know the valves are going to be readjusted once I assemble it, I know all that. But I still want to keep them because they all wear different, you know what I mean? So just for argument's sake, and plus over time, as they change temperature, some stay longer than others. I know I'm going to adjust them, and I know I'm going to feeler gauge them up, but it's just one less thing to think about or go wrong, isn't it? So that's the next job, is drill the holes for these. So when I take the valves out, when I take these out, I haven't got to worry about anything. So that's what I'm going to do. So this is the front, obviously here, thermostat's here. So this is number 1 cylinder. Number 2. Number 3. And number 4. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to number the valve. Well, so I see what they've done. Oh, okay. Right, okay, I see what they've done. Right, so I don't know if you can see that clearly, but I mean, let me see if I can show you. You've got exhaust inlet, exhaust inlet, exhaust inlet, so on and so forth. So obviously they can only fit in that hole because that one won't fit that one, obviously. But I want to keep each set with each cylinder, obviously. So again, there's no mistakes. So as I take each valve out, it will go into this little mask. Right, okay, so on the gasket, it's got to come off. It's all going to be polished anyway. I've got replacements and all that, so that's no problem. Okay. So, mind you, the other gaskets and the bits didn't come. Ouch! Didn't take long to get here, to be honest. The rear was in the week, and right, let's have a look at that. Yeah, no, that's all right. Wow, lucky though. It could have been nasty. So I've got away with that. Definitely got away with that. Pop that in there for a minute. Yeah, so I want to try and sort this damage out a little bit here, because the coke will sit in there, I know it will. So, but I think the next thing, get the valves out. So just bear with me while I sort out my my valve puller. Okay, right, I thought I'm not going to bore you with the whole process of taking every valve out, but I just thought I'd show you how to remove a valve if you've never removed one. Now this is the simplest valve remover in the world, got to be. That's if it is a valve remover. I'm assuming it is because I don't know, but it seems to work perfect as a valve remover anyway. And you've got to have one if you're going to remove the valves to regrind them in. So it works perfect. The only thing with a normal valve grinder, the shaft which compresses everything, that usually screws in. So you gently screw it in, the valve is the spring is compressed, and you take the collets out, and then you unscrew it very gently, releasing the pressure. with this, when you release this bit like you would on a normal, if you were using this, put mastic in or something, when you press that button, that bugger really goes, it really, wow, flies out. So yeah, you've got to be a bit careful. So I'm not sure if this is a valve remover or not, but it seems to work perfect for the job, because you get a hole in the middle so you get the collets out. So I don't know, I picked this up out of a load of junk and it absolutely works perfect. I've already removed 3 valves. I'm going to remove the number 2 cylinder outlet valve, exhaust valve, okay? So I just thought I'd show you me doing it. And but the first thing, what happens when these sort of embed themselves in, the top plate, I think you see clearly there, the top plate here, it gets sort of stuck to the collets, so they need a bit of a whack to loosen them up. The easiest way to do that is get a socket, depending on the size of your valves, but this is a 9/16 socket. Put it under the valve, under the actual cup of the valve. You need to find a solid surface to do it on. And you'll need to feel your way around a bit. It needs to sit square on the valve. Underneath the bottom of the valve. Right, okay. What I'll do is I'll move you along a bit so you can see what's going on. Bear with me for a moment. Okay, right, so you can see that quite clearly now. And what you need to do, because these collets, they get stuck in this plate, top plate here, okay? They sort of get nestled in. And when you try to put the compressor on, to compress the valve, it gets stuck and you need a hell of a lot of pressure to release it. What I suggest you do is another socket at the other end. Now you need a 17mm socket, okay? You put it over the top, okay? You just give it a swift whack and it will break the seal. That is enough to do it, okay? It won't cause any damage, but it will break the seal. If you can see clearly, right, there's the valve and the valve spring, alright? Other part of the face is there, okay? So what we need to do, we get our valve compressor, or whatever the hell this is. It seems to work brilliantly. And you want to get the shaft right in the centre of the valve. Mustn't be one side, it's got to be exactly right dead centre. You don't want any other uneven pressure on the valve, because you don't want to bend the valve in any way, okay? And make sure it's lined up on the cap on the top, okay? Right, now as you start to press it, it will start to compress the spring and the collets will become loose. Do it gently, because there's a hell of a lot of pressure behind the spring. Right, now the collets are now just sitting there. You do not want to lose the collets, because once you lose them, you've had it. So face them away from you, They're a bit tricky, so you might have to load it up a bit more. As I say, I don't know if this is a valve spring compressor or not, but it certainly does the job. And should drop out in a minute. There's one, and I've just dropped it on the floor. It's right, I've seen it, I know where it is. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Move the next one round, and there it goes. Right, okay. Have a tin handy, put it straight in the tin. Now, this is where it gets a little bit on the dangerous side, but it doesn't move very far, fortunately. So, just hold it there, like that, move your face away from it, and away you go. Done. Probably coil it. And there you go, one spring. Left the seal on there. And there's your seal. Oh, there it is. There's the seal. There's what we're going to replace. It goes on the bottom of there. Stops the oil from escaping into the cylinder. Okay. So, slide the valve out. Like so. Yeah, they need a good decoat, definitely. And also, yeah, that one's been slightly leaking. Yeah, probably been losing compression on that. But doesn't appear to be bent or anything, so that's cool. So yeah, they need a good regrinding. See that properly? Yeah, one side slightly is not seeing good. No problem. Right, that's the inlet. Pop that in my little cardboard holder. So I know exactly what valve is what and from where it came. Grab the spring again. I like to just keep the springs together. So I'll put them over there. I'll show you after what I've done. Alright, so that's two cylinders full, two pistons, two sets of valves done. Yeah, there's a hell of a lot of coke in there. Yeah, I can need a good old polish out of that. Yes, should perform much better after. So that's all good. So far, so good. Right, next time you see me, all the valves will be out. Okay? Right, okay, well, after a little moment or time, got all the valves out. You can quite plainly see the damage there. So this has got to be polished as best I can. There's a very tiny little bit of damage there. It's right on the edge of here. It's nowhere near where the brass or copper seal goes, so that's good. Yeah, noticed a few of the exhaust valves are not sealing very well. So re-grinding them in is going to do them a world of good. So they'll probably lose in performance due to that, without a doubt. So that's all good. Obviously I've got to get rid of all this crap off of here. So yeah, as I say, it's got a bit of damage here and here. So yeah, going to get on and do that, and then I'll show you the end result. Okay? Oh yeah, as promised, I did say yeah, I'll show you what I've done. Yeah, that's basically what I've done. It's simple enough. They're all numbered, and I've kept them all in order. So no more mistakes. Everything goes back to the way it came out. The only difference is it'll have new oil seals. They'll all have new oil seals, and also the valves will all be reground in. So as I said, yeah, I'll remove all this gasket crap and start cleaning up that bit of damaged head, and I'll be back on. Okay. I've got all the carbon out of it. But what I'm going to do, while I've got this apart, I might as well gas flow, what they call gas flow the head, which is basically where you polish the ports so that the gases escape from the engine faster. People say, what do you want a gas port? What do you want a gas flow bloody Reliant engine for? Could you be surprised actually what difference it will make to the performance? Because the quicker you can get those fumes out of that engine, the cleaner the burn you'll get, and you'll run much better as well. Becomes more efficient. So I'm going to wash this down with some spirit first and then blow it all out. I'm then going to go in there with my mini grinder and start gas flowing this head, because you've got the bare casting. There's even some of the lumps going on there, yeah. Some pretty good lumps going on there. That slows the gases down. Believe it or not, it makes like a sort of a bit like an eddy current in there, so the gases don't escape as quick. But smoothing all those little bumps out inside, it makes a hell of a difference. I've done it on a few engines and it really works, really makes a difference. So, first thing to do is give it a wash down and I'll be back, okay? Now I haven't got all the polishes. The other ideal stuff for this, which I don't happen to have, is oh, what's it called? Bloody hell. Solvol. Jesus Christ, what's it? They still do it. It's quite expensive, I think, now. Solvol something. On aluminium, it literally brings it up like chrome. So do it on our dirt bikes. Made them much easier to clean, I've got to tell you. So that would be ideal for this situation, because you get like a chrome-like finish. It makes it so slippery. The fumes, without a drop even stick to it, they'll run anything with it. Anyway, you're going to see and hear me waffling on. Next time you see me, I'll be reinserting the valves. Thank you. Okay, right. So the head is now done. I've re-polished it and everything. Also polished all the ports. So I've gas flowed the ports. I'm not sure if you can see it that well, but it's all done anyway. So next step, I'm going to clean the fronts of the valves before I grind them in, and then, I mean, a lot of the old ways of doing it was to get it's like a piece of wood, round wood, or dowel if you like it, or whatever, large dowel, with a sucker on the end, and it just takes forever. I always use a drill, because when I was doing working for the hire business, you couldn't be there for ages, you know, trying to lap in valves, so that was a much quicker way of doing it. The only thing I will say, you do have to be very accurate with it. You can't pull the drill to one side or anything like that. You know, you've got to make sure you're pulling it in and out gently. Don't put any pressure from side to side. I mean, it's easy enough to do, just got to be sensible about it, and you'll have no problems with valve grinding in, and you won't put any excess wear on the guides either. So that's how I traditionally grind valves in. Okay, but for now, I'm going to clean up the fronts of the valves first and polish them, and then I should be grinding them in. So that'll be the next job. Okay. Right now, the valves are cleaned up at the front. I'm now going to clean up the sides and the stems, but only the top part of the stem, not the bottom, obviously. If you can see that, you can see that's quite bad. Yeah. So obviously I'm not going to be doing the shaft bit, the running bit. I'm just going to be doing the back side of it here. Okay. Right, yeah, I'm just going to polish the back of the valve here. There's quite a bit of build up of crud on there. Now the actual part where it runs in, the actual is past this nodule here. So it's this area here. You do not want to be touching that. Only here and the back of there, and you don't want to be doing this area here either. I know we're going to grind them in, but you don't want to be damaging that, okay? So it's important. You just want to do this bit, alright? Okay, that's good. Okay. You don't want to start going into the metal itself. You literally want to just get the crap off it, alright? It's alright, the chuck on this is knackered, that's what I use this for. Alright, so if you can see that closely, it's a bit difficult. Oh dear. That's all nice and clean now, and all nice and clean there as well. Alright, you don't want to go any more than that. Okay, you don't want to start grinding back. Okay, and you just want to do the very top lip, so it's nice and smooth and you've got all the crap off of it. Alright, don't want to be doing the running surface on the back because you'll never get them to seal. Okay, so that's absolutely fine. So that's one. Another 7 to go. Right, okay, so we've got number 1 valve. Okay, this is the exhaust valve. Sorry, my head's in the way. We'll put that in first. See if I can find the hole. Put a bit of hair in it. Right, okay. It's sliding in lovely. Not bad, cost me under a £5. So, got this end which is very fine, this end which is coarse. Start off with coarse. Okay. Get a bit on your finger. Bring it out a little bit. Run it round the surface of where you're going to start grinding. Don't need a ton. Right, slide it in. Don't get any on the shaft, whatever you do. Okay, that's really important. Alright, right, get your portable drill. Okay, put it on. Right, now you get as near to the tip as you can. Alright, make sure it's going the right way. Okay, now what I suggest you do, spray a bit of oil. Oh, he says, where to put it? Alright, yeah, a bit of 3-in-1 or something. Just so it gives it a bit of lubricant, right? Right, now, don't bend it down, don't bend it to one side, just in and out. That's all you want to do, yeah? Don't get on any surfaces here, alright? Christ's sake. You will be in trouble. Okay, so cover a little bit on there. Okay, right now we're down to the fine paste now. So again, it's most important to please do not get the paste on the shaft. The minute you do that, that's it. The guide is buggered. Alright, so okay, get torch. Yeah, that's coming out lovely and shiny now. Absolutely. Okay. That's cool. Right. Oh yeah, that's lovely. Right, okay, yeah. This is what you want to see when you're finished. Come on, camera, focus. See that nice shiny there? And it's equal all the way around. Come on. Hello? There you go. Alright. So that's the exhaust done. Number one. So now to get the inlet. Get our inlet. So I'll just show you that briefly before I start. See, not very equal all the way around, okay? I've got a feeling that a couple of these were leaking anyway. So there you go. Make sure again, no dirt on the valve stem. Alright. Ouch. Don't hit your head on the way in. Right. Right, a bit of coarse. Don't need a ton. Just run your finger around the outside. Like that. Okay. Right. Cup off your hand. Okay, off the valve up. Spray a bit of the old. What's it in there? You've got a bit of lubrication. Okay, right, we've got to the stage now where I've put new oil seals on the valve stems. Stops the oil running down and burning in the cylinder. I've passed the exhaust one through. I'm just about to fit the spring. So, okay, right. I put all the rest of the valves in. Looked up at the camera, suddenly realised, oh my god, it's gone off. Why has it gone off? Restarted the camera, it said the card is full. Oh, I thought, right, okay, so I thought, okay, before I go any further, because I'm down to the last one, and I thought, right, I'll just check it, and the card got full up just as I was about to start putting the valves in. So I'm going to get on with it now. So as I say, I've got all the rest in. Just about to do the next one, or the last one. Just bear with me. Okay, so I've got the last valve ready to go in. Right, put a bit of oil on the shaft so that when you put it in, it's lubricated. Okay, I'm hoping you can see that. Yeah, and gently move it through the seal because I put new seals on. Right, okay, so I've got our spring, so I'm just going to give it a quick wash too. Right, got our spring, got the top plate, pop it on. And here we go. Once you get used to putting these things in, it's not too bad. just initialising it. Right, get the collet from there, and the pipe works in a way. Right. So, you get them both in. Don't lose them, for Christ's sake. Right, now, don't move it in too far, because that can cause you problems. And they can drop out. Right, that's one. Right, they're both in. And then it's literally press the button. And that's it. One valve, oh, one valve in, and you're all in. There you go. Right, we're running out of time, and this video has gone on for long enough. So next time you see, we will be reassembling the engine back together. Okay, so if you've enjoyed this video and you found it useful, please become a member of my channel and subscribe, and please give it a like or a thumbs up at the bottom of this video, and please leave any comments below. Alright, but for now, take it easy, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.